Hey guys, Brett Weiss here. Welcome to another video. If you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button. I really appreciate it. I want to talk about 5 TV shows I've been watching recently that I consider guilty pleasures. Shows that I watched, I'm thinking, why am I watching this? Why am I wasting time with this garbage? And what got me along this line was I've been watching The Mandalorian, of course. And I am caught up. I've watched both seasons, and like a lot of you, I absolutely love it. It's a great show. It's basically a Western set in outer space within the Star Wars universe. And unlike some of the prequels and sequels, some of the other ones, some of the other Star Wars offshoots, The Mandalorian feels authentic. It feels like it's set within the Star Wars universe. It is absolutely awesome. I absolutely love it. It is great. But its greatness and how it makes perfect sense that I would watch this show got me to thinking about some other shows I've been watching recently that make no sense whatsoever that I'm watching them. But I want to give you reasons why I'm watching them and point out these 5 shows, these 5 guilty pleasures. So number 5, This Is Us. Now you're thinking, how could This Is Us be a guilty pleasure? Because it's a quality show. Now This Is Us started in 2016 and it runs to the present, and I eagerly anticipate every episode. It's about 3 siblings, 2 brothers and a sister, and that's what, growing up, 2 brothers, I had a brother and a sister, so it's sort of like, in that sense, I can relate to it on some level. It is a quality show with good acting, good dialogue, some really interesting flashback scenes. It's about adult children, the lives of these adult children, their interpersonal relationships, their relationships with family members, and it's interesting to show the flashbacks when they were kids. It's well cast, the work. So why do I feel guilty about it? Because it's a freaking soap opera. It's basically a chick flick on TV. And I'll joke to my wife. She doesn't watch it with me. I'm just sitting here watching it by myself. And I'll joke to her, I'm going to go watch my story now when This Is Us comes on. Like I'm some grandma watching Days of Our Lives or something. So anyway, but why do I watch it? Because it's cool. I mean, it's good. Maybe not cool, but it's quality. And I like Kevin. Kevin within the show is cool. He's my favorite of the Justin Hartley. He's my favorite of the siblings, and he's an actor within the show, and I like those storylines. And he played Green Arrow on Smallville, so the show does have some superhero cred there. So boom, This Is Us. Guilty pleasure, but I do like it. Number 4, another soap opera. Why am I watching all these soap operas? Dawson's Creek, which ran from 1998 to 2003. And I used to watch this show with my wife back in the day. We would make fun of it and just have some fun with it. It's a teen drama, set in high school, and these kids are way over the top, with their dialogue, with their, the way they respond to each other, the way they talk. They're way too precocious, and the actors are clearly older than what they portray on the show. Like Pacey's supposed to be 15, I don't think so, and it is ridiculous at times, but it is quite good. It's well cast, it's well acted, and it's just fun. It's just a good relaxing show. Sometimes I doze off during it, and I don't even back it up because I've seen it before. And it's kind of nostalgic since me and my wife used to watch it. But again, it's a guilty pleasure because it's a soap opera. No, no aliens, no monsters, no spaceships, unless you count the monsters within Dawson's little movies. Dawson, the reason I watch it is because I like Dawson. I think he's a cool kid. He's smart. He's a budding filmmaker. He's a Spielberg fanatic. I think that's pretty neat. But even more so, I watch it because it has John Wesley Shipp, who plays Dawson's father on the show. And I love John Wesley Shipp and The Flash, the old 90s TV show that sadly only ran for 1 season, but that was a fun show, and I love John Wesley Shipp in it. And he's great in Dawson's Creek. He's had some nice dramatic moments in that show, and it's been neat going back to watch Dawson's Creek now that I know John Wesley Shipp, and I talk to him at conventions and stuff, so that's been really neat. So boom, there you go, another superhero connection with the soap opera. Number 3. Now, a lot of you video game guys and gals, a lot of you arcade fans will remember this one. Silver Spoons, which ran from 1982 to 1987. It's about a spoiled rich kid played by Ricky Schroeder, who is kind of a nice kid in the show, but he seems kind of spoiled. As a matter of fact, my mom did not like me watching the show, even though I was 15 when the show started. She didn't like me watching it because Ricky Schroeder, he just seemed spoiled and kind of a little bit of a brat, and his friend was a brat, played by Jason Bateman. He was basically like Eddie Haskell on Leave It to Beaver, just overly polite, but really kind of a douchebag. But you may have guessed it by now why I watched Silver Spoons if you've watched it before, because he has a freaking arcade in his house. His dad is very rich. The kid played by Ricky Schroeder. I can't even remember his name in the show, but I have been watching it recently. But I watch it because the house is amazing. This is one reason I watch it, because they've got, not only do they have an arcade with 5 or 6, 6 or 7 games in it, including Asteroids, Tempest, and Gorf. There's a train that goes in the house all around it that you can actually, several people can ride in. And that was just fascinating to me as a teenager, that he had an arcade in his house. And also Erin Gray, who was on Buck Rogers, really cool science fiction show. She is in the show as well. She's kind of corny on Silver Spoons, but at least she's in it. There's a sci-fi tie-in there. So it's cool that she's in it. And also, the Ricky Schroeder character, who I can't remember his name for some reason, he reminds me of Richie Rich, blonde kid. And I grew up absolutely loving Richie Rich comic books. And the Richie Rich, basically Silver Spoons, seems a lot to me like Richie Rich. And the cartoon Richie Rich wasn't that great. The movie I never even bothered watching. I heard it was terrible. But if I want to watch some live action Richie Rich, basically Silver Spoons. And it's so cool that he has an arcade in his house. And they didn't focus too much on the arcade or the games in the show, most episodes. But I love getting a glimpse on it while you watch it, of those games. Pretty cool. Silver Spoons, not a great show, a little corny, and they try to get their little messages in, but it's still kind of cheesy. But anyway, I have fun watching it. It's definitely a guilty pleasure. Number 2, Square Pegs from 1982. Now, I do have this on DVD. It's the only one of these 4 or 5 shows that I'm talking to you guys about that I bothered to buy on DVD. I found the whole, found every episode for cheap. It looks neat. It is so 1980s. But it's basically like if Fast Times at Ridgemont High, the excellent film, it's basically if Fast Times at Ridgemont High were bad. Square Pegs is not a great show, but it is kind of fun. It's got Sarah Jessica Parker, as you can see here, how she should be, nerdy. I never bought Sarah Jessica Parker as a sex symbol like in Sex and the City, but she's great as a nerd. I thought she's perfect for that role. And I like the guys, including especially Johnny Slash with the glasses there. And I like his lingo, his dialogue, totally different head. And you'll have to watch the show to find out what that means. And Jennifer DiNuccio, it's just a fun show, but it's really bad. The acting is kind of bad, the dialogue, the plots aren't the greatest, but there is one plot that I really liked. And why do I watch the show? Number 1, there's a episode that revolves around getting arcade machines in the school called Pac-Man Fever. And one of the characters gets addicted to Pac-Man, and that's pretty cool. But just overall, when I watch the show, it's got such an 80s vibe. Yeah, it's over the top. Yeah, it's overly 80s, but it's not like a flashback show. It came out in 82, and it's so freaking 80s that it's just a lot of fun. Square Pegs. If you like the Goldbergs but want something that's actually made in the early 80s or in the 1980s, 82 in this case, check out Square Pegs. Not great, but still a lot of fun. That's number 2. Number 1 on my list of guilty pleasure shows. This is kind of a trashy show. It can be smutty at times. It's definitely a guilty pleasure. It is Riverdale, which came out in 2017, and it's still going. It is ridiculous. It is more ridiculous by far than Dawson's Creek. The teenagers at the high school are, they're so advanced beyond being teenagers. They look older. And Veronica, the great Veronica from the Archie comic, it's basically live action Archie comics if they were tawdry and more mature, adult oriented. And the Veronica character runs a speakeasy, and yes, she's in high school. Archie runs some kind of boxing, like a gym that's a sort of a charity foundation. And the school newspaper, the Blue and Gold, it's actually taken seriously as a serious, investigative journalism newspaper that the town counts on. And these kids are way too involved in town politics and, with the law enforcement and everything. It's just so over the top, and it's definitely gratuitous. It's sexy and colorful and over the top. Why do I watch it? Well, hey, I absolutely love Archie comic books. And I grew up reading Archie comics. I still enjoy Archie comic books. And these are basically Archie comics characters come to life. The casting is perfect. The guy that plays Archie is spot on. Betty and Veronica are great. All the characters, all the way down to like Jughead and everybody. Just a really fun show. If you can get past how absolutely absurd it is. But it is colorful and stylish and sexy and everything. And I just have a lot of fun with it. The casting is perfect. The dialogue is snappy. There's a lot of drama. Now, I didn't like that. The one season, I think it was season 4, that was like inspired by Dungeons and Dragons. They called it Griffins and what was it? Griffins and Gremlins? I don't remember. Anyway, it's a Dungeons and Dragons episode, and every episode just about in that season revolves around, them playing this game, and it just wasn't good. And it flashes back to the parents playing it back when they were in high school. I just thought it failed as a concept, and it was stretched out over the whole season. Didn't like that. Otherwise, have a lot of fun with Riverdale, and it makes #1 on my list just because it's so trashy, so tawdry, and so ridiculous. Let me know in the comments, what is your guilty pleasure TV show? Whether it's a truly bad show that you enjoy, or whether it's a quality show that just seems kind of odd, that's not necessarily a genre that you typically enjoy. Anyway, thank you for watching. Thanks to all of you that have ordered the NES Omnibus. Orders are on the way. I've shipped out almost all of them. Just have a few more books to ship tomorrow. And hope you're enjoying it. Leave me a review on Amazon for the book. I'd really appreciate that. Thank you guys so much for supporting the Kickstarter, for pre-orders. And now it's available for order. You can order it, signed copies from me direct. I will put a link in the description of this video. Thanks for watching. And again, let me know what guilty pleasure shows you've been watching. We will talk to you guys later.